Now let's talk about permissions. In the security model, permissions group the securable objects and access levels that are required to run a function. This includes any tables, fields, forms, or server-side methods. Each function, such as a form or a service that are accessed through the entry point, menu items, web contact items, and service operations are referred to collectively as entry points. As you see, there is a one-to-many relationship between permissions and securable objects. That means one permission can be assigned to many different securable objects. As an example, when I click on View Budget Model, you notice the description and the AOT name of this specific privilege, which has the reference to action menu items, display menu items, other duties, entities, output menu items, rows, service operations, and tables. I can continue and select a different role, such as Guide Manager, which is as part of mixed reality embedded within Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations app. As you notice, I can see the AOT name and references to duties, parent roles, privileges, sub-roles, and tables. This role has only one duty as of today. Duty for managing the mixed reality guides. By selecting that specific duty, you see available privileges and roles that you can further navigate into. You also see the AOT name. I click on the privileges. There is a simple privilege which indicates that I can view the guides. Now you're familiar with security architecture and working with security configuration form in order to create, maintain, and manage roles, duties, privileges, permissions for the securable object. It's time to learn different ways in order to assign security roles to existing users or create users, assign and maintain security roles for the newly created users. In this demonstration, I'd like to show you how you can achieve this goal. I start by selecting the modules, expand the sets of menus for each modules. I choose System Administration. From available nodes, I expand Users. Then click on the User menu item. A list page with existing users that have been already imported as part of my demo data from Active Directory, which resides in Microsoft Azure, is being shown. I click on the fixed assets, and as you see, I only have access to the budget related to the fixed asset, and by expanding this setup, I can only deal with the books. Therefore, I don't have the entire availability to access all the features and the screens of the fixed assets module based on the security roles that have been assigned to the cells at guidetolearn.com. I switch back to my administrator instance. Click on the modules and compare it by clicking on the fixed asset module. As you notice, I have a lot to show for. I have access to everything that fixed asset module has to offer. I collapse them all, and then I switch back to the instance of the cells at guidetolearn.com and compare the same exact module, fixed assets, for this specific user. Now you know, depending on the user and association of that user to a role, which includes duties, privileges, and permissions, I see less or more menu items, forms, and actions that they can perform within finance and operations. By switching back to the administrator's instance, within the fixed asset, I can click on the workspaces or any other menu. I click on the system administration module. Within the module, I click on the users. And within here, I search for the sales user that I've already imported from the Azure Active Directory. I click on the hyperlink, and let's go ahead and select some of these rows that I've already added. I have the capability to remove some of the rows. By doing so, I switch back to the instance that I've already logged on as sales@guidetolearn.com. As you notice, currently I have access to the following workspace tiles. In order to see the effect, I refresh the browser. You actually see there are less workspaces now available. This is the area that you perform everything necessary related to segregation of duties. To set up the segregation of duty rules, find out if there are any conflicts, get a report about unresolved conflicts, and finally verify if your user role assignment for segregation of duties are compliance with your business needs. And this time I select Verify Compliance of User Role Assignments menu item. In the dialog box indicating to verify compliance of user role assignments with rules for segregation of duties, which can be indeed scheduled to be run by using the batch job and send alerts and notification based on success, completion, or failure via either email or messages in the Action Center. When I click on the OK, a notification displays the results of validation. Conflicts are logged on the Segregation of Duties Unresolved Conflict page. When you assign users to roles, the roles of segregation of duties are automatically enforced. If you try to assign a user to roles that contain conflicting duties, you receive an error message. You must then resolve the conflict by denying or allowing the additional role assignment. The additional role will be assigned after assignment is allowed. Conflicts are currently not verified for users that are assigned roles based on Active Directory domain groups. Consider when you use deny assignment, this will deny the assignment of the user to the additional security role. Such as vendor reports. Let's take a look at one of these reports. I click on the product receipt report. As you notice, within USMF, all available product receipt journals will be appeared, which shows the invoice account, purchase order, purchase receipt number, the date, and so many other fields. By clicking on the lines, I can get into the details of each one of these product receipt journal, which indeed shows the reference to the purchase order number, the item, warehouse, and the quantity as well as the amounts and many more fields. I click on the Overview tab again, and right within here, I can select to print the preview or print the original invoice of the product receipt journal. I click back on the modules, expand the vendor reports, and select Top 100 Vendors Output Menu Item. Within the dialog box, I can specify number of records that can be shown within the output, which by default is set to be a screen. I can also define the sorting criteria. As you see out of the box, I can sort by amount, revenue, or quantity. From the destination area, I can click on the change button. Here I can decide to show the results in the screen, which was the default, send it to a printer, save it as a file, or send it as an email as either a body or an attachment, or save it as an archive for future print options. I keep the default to be a screen. Like many other forms, you have a capability to filter the records to be shown by either the date or vendor accounts. Also, you have the option to run this specific process and generate the report based on the recurrence as well as setting up the alert. I can click filter, and by choosing the inquiry form, I can select my options and provide criteria and save it for future use. By using run in the background, within the batch job alerts, I can select to be notified when the job is ended, interrupted by an error, or has been cancelled. Alternatively, I can show a pop-up message in the Action Center or send an email to an alias. Finance and Operations apps provides a set of rich security reports to help you understand the set of security roles and set of users assigned to each role. In addition to out-of-the-box reports, developers can generate a workbook containing all user security privileges for all roles by using Visual Studio and selecting the Dynamics 365 menu with the add-ins option and choosing view related objects and licenses for all roles. Each of the security reports can be found under System Administration, Inquiries, Security. As you saw in my previous demonstration, in order to get into the security reports, which are out of the box, you need to navigate to the System Administration and then expand Inquiries, then Security Nodes, and then you can see the list of existing security reports. I start from top to the bottom. Let's first introduce User Role Assignments. The User Role Assignments report generates a view of the current user role assignments in your system. By default, the report includes all users with roles assigned. You can optionally limit the report to a specific set of users by entering a list of users when generating the report. On the User Role Assignments Parameters pane, you can go to the Records to Include and choose a filter. By filtering, you can add or remove additional fields in order to be able to filter further the list of users that report will be generated for. For each user in the report, a list of roles is provided, along with any restrictions at the legal entity or organization level. Here, for example, I add a new filter. From the field, I select Company. Then optionally, I can only show the security roles related to that specific company. By just setting up a field and not specifying any criteria, it will show all the users belong to the entire organization. For this specific demonstration, I click OK and do not specify any value for the company. As you see, the User Role Assignments report will be shown. Let's zoom it in a bit more so we can view it better. By looking at the System Administrator, you notice that the organization type is legal entity. I continue by navigating through the pages for you to see what are the available security roles. Let's go ahead and give it a shot for one of these specific roles, like resource manager, and I click on details. By expanding it, you notice that this specific role consists of so many other sub-roles. Therefore, these are the children of the root role, such as retail catalog manager, merchandising manager, operations manager, and service. If I expand the details of the retail catalog manager, you actually see available duties for this specific role, alongside with the operations that are associated with that specific duty. I scroll down, and as you see, I get to the point that it shows the next available subrole. I click on the finance and operations or homepage in order to get back to the default dashboard. By going through this demonstration, you became acquainted with the security reports available out of the box in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations.